Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So on the agenda tonight, we have Ronnie Montrose, and this is going to be coming from 2001, and it's going to be his version of Town Without Pity. So let's get Ronnie up on screen and see how he gets on. Going to jump in here just while Ronnie's really bringing down the dynamics here, really getting into this breakdown, also just rolling off a little bit of that overdrive with the volume on his guitar. But the thing that I love about Ronnie, and one of the things I mention all the time, is the fact that when he's interviewed, I've actually seen and read interviews with him where he really places a huge amount of importance on his vibrato in order to express through his guitar. And I know I mention it all the time just because all the top players have absolutely got it down. And Ronnie went so far as to say that it's the most important weapon that he's got in his arsenal. Of every run, every line, every scale, he puts that all below vibrato as the one thing that he said he would keep in favor of everything else. So I'm very much of the same opinion that you don't have to know a million scales or play at a million miles an hour. If you can get the guitar to sing with a great vibrato, then that's all you need in order to sound great on the guitar, because the voice and the connection and the emotion is the most important thing. And of course, in sections here we have got a lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs, a lot of blues scale and blues playing here, even though we're really within this confines of the cover of Town Without Pity, but throwing together these really soulful bends and also that vibrato at the top of the bends is absolutely faultless. I know that Ronnie said that he didn't really practice much either, and especially later in his career, 2001, this video's from, but he did have arthritis as well, which of course meant that he couldn't really practice too much. But even earlier in his career, he didn't work on on those really technical elements, things like alternate picking and sweep picking as well, which you see some players really focus on, but Ronnie was really concentrating on the sound that he made and the connection he could get with an audience. In terms of how he gets his sound, the really smooth legato sound that he can get with those hammer-ons and pull-offs, but also he used to string his guitars the same gauge. All of his electric guitars were all 9s, and also his pick. I saw in an interview that either he said that he used a 60mm pick, or it's been misprinted as 60mm, because that will be over half a centimeter width of a pick, which would be one hell of a pick. But it would have been 0.60 or just 0.6 that you can see, you know, it's like just over half a millimeter. That's what we're looking at. So actually his pick isn't that thick, so that'll give a softer attack on those strings as well. What you tend to find is that with more aggressive players that are going to be using more alternate picking, and as you ramp up the speed in terms of the technicalities of playing, you start getting towards the 1mm, 1.1, 1.2 and above, because you don't want any give in your pick, because you want it just to stay solid whilst you move over those strings if you're looking to increase your speed. But anyway, let's get back into the performance. is. There is so much about Ronnie's vibrato, the way that he changes it up, because in certain sections there, he just sped it up a little bit in the breakdown and then would get back into that really slow, deliberate vibrato at the end. So he's always changing it up, and you can really tell that he's focused so much on it. Another thing is the way that Ronnie throws the runs together with that alternate picking, where he doesn't spend on one note, just one pick. He might spend 2 or 3 or 4 picks on each note, which gives it a totally different sound, because sometimes you get so used to hearing that alternate picking with just one pick per note, and to hear something that's slightly different, again, Ronnie just throws that in there. And just in case you're interested, the guitar here that Ronnie's using, and he described as really being the guitar for him to express himself through and get exactly the sound that he wanted, this is a B3 by Gene Baker. And I mean, early 70s is when Ronnie really was in his heyday, 73 and 74, and that was with Montrose, with Sammy Hagar as the singer. And then in the late 70s, early 80s, he also had a band called Gamma, but he's also worked with so many people as a session guy as well. Edgar Winter's in there, Johnny Winter, Sammy Hagar, of course, and Van Morrison. So you can look up all the people that he's worked with as well. Unfortunately, Ronnie passed away in 2012, but it's great to have a look at these kind of videos, because it really shows Ronnie's expression, and that he was the kind of player that could play a piece that you might have heard a million times before, but then when he played it, it would sound different. It would have his personality on it and his expression, and that's something that is so rare for guitarists to be able to do. Play the same notes as everybody else, but get them to sound unique. But thank you so much for suggesting this video for me to take a look at, and keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!